Hey everybody, it's Kathy Klotz-Guest of Keeping It Human, and with me today is Ron Tite of Church+State Agency, and he's a speaker and author. What else do you do?
Well, Kathy, I make a mean chocolate chip cookie.
Which I love.
Yeah, no.
I
mean, that kind of keeps me busy, right? Throw in a kid and you know.
There you go. And like we're both sitting up straight, you know, because we've got these mad, crazy posture right chairs.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just like a member of the establishment.
I know. I feel like
here.
I'm in a position of authority. Like I should be bossing everyone around because I feel very queenly.
You can boss me around, sure. Smell those flowers.
That's right. That's right. Well, let's talk about just quickly about your book, Think, Do, Say, which is coming out in October.
Yes, it is October 8th.
October 8th.
Stores everywhere.
Stores everywhere. Yeah. Coming to a store near you. So tell us a little bit about the book. Just what's the big takeaway of the book?
The big takeaway of the book is that that when people within organizations think, do, and say things in a very similar way, then we get total organizational alignment.
Yeah.
So the think is really, about purpose. Yeah. The do is about actions that reinforce the purpose. And the say is, saying what you believe in and what you do in a really compelling and honest and relevant way for people. Yeah. And when you look at the secret behind great brands and great leaders, they are the ones that, it's based on what they think, what they do, and what they say. So I just thought that, we need a simple framework because a lot of organizational development is done by people with MBAs, right? And 99% of the organization is like, they have no clue what the difference between mission and vision is. Yeah. Like no idea. Yeah. So think, do, say, a very simple framework from the CEO all the way down to frontline employees.
I think it's so important today because it astounds me, and I've worked in big companies where in marketing, you know what you do, and most of the employees outside of marketing can't explain what you do.
No.
And that's crazy to me.
No idea.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you know what they can do though, is they can recite the vision statement from their onboarding program, because you beat it into their head, right? And they're like, we are a mission-driven organization, right? But they have no clue what it means.
That's right.
And how it relates to their job and how it impacts their job.
Oh yeah, no, it's like we're going from the HR org chart to the Borg chart. We must assimilate, must repeat the mission and values.
Yeah,
no,
totally.
It's true and it's scary, but it is such an important thing. And you had a chapter, so I'm
sure.
which I love because Ron and I both have backgrounds in improv and comedy.
Yeah.
And you wrote a chapter about comedy and what it can teach organizations about purpose. And you and I geeked out a little bit in email about this being the 15th anniversary in October.
Yep.
Of Jon Stewart's appearance on Crossfire, which ended up getting that show canceled. Cancel culture, Jon Stewart invented that. He invented that. So talk to us a little bit about what that means. I mean, what can comedy do for purpose? I mean, you and I know, but what is that? Yeah,
why I thought that 15 years ago, why that moment in time was what I've called both the coup of comedy and the coup of business, because it gave a business an indication of how to behave with prospects and customers, was that in that moment, comedians in the history of television, right? When you land on a late night show, national show, you pitch slap the audience, right? You take your bits and you disguise them as conversation, you lead with your best stuff. So you lead with your product. But what Stewart did on that night was he put purpose before product. The soul behind his humor, behind his product, was more important. And he led with that and didn't sell anything. And what we've seen in comedy is a huge shift in comedy, where really powerful comedy now is in the moments of silence. Hannah Gadsby's in the net. Dave Chappelle's Bird Revelations. Mike Birbiglia, Thank God for Jokes. Right? Like Adam Sandler, one of the most juvenile comedians of all time, ends 100% fresh on an emotional tribute to
Chris Farley?
To Chris Farley and his wife. Yeah. And it's beautiful, and I bawled. So comedy itself is going in that direction. Yeah. If comedy can put purpose before punchline, business can put purpose before product. And 2 weeks ago, we saw this play in, because in 1970, Milton Friedman wrote an essay called The Purpose of the Corporation is to increase profits. The social responsibility of corporations is to increase profits. Right? That was it.
That's it.
The shareholder was the only constituent. 2 or 3 weeks ago, the Business Roundtable, 181 CEOs representing 30% of the total U.S. market cap, it rewrote what the purpose of a corporation is, and it now has 5 constituents: employees, customers, community, shareholders, and suppliers. So we can take that lead from comedy, that it doesn't have to, you can be really, really powerful with silence in leading with your purpose.
Love that. And they're listing people. They're listing people over profit.
Yeah, totally.
Which is, I think, how it should always have been. And I love that it's coming around.
Yeah.
And I love that there's a generational change too, because I think millennials and Gen Zers are saying, yeah, that's what we want. I think that's what all humans want. We've always wanted that.
Yeah.
It's just, it took a while to get this sea change happening.
Yeah.
You know?
What's really interesting when you look at the Stewart piece is, I believe, right, you put purpose before profit. And when you do that, miraculously, here comes profit.
Boom!
Right?
Boom!
Stewart does that, and then what happens afterwards? He creates an entire genre where it's Samantha Bee, and it's Trevor Noah, and it's Hassan Minhaj, and it's Stephen Colbert.
John Oliver.
John
boom,
Oliver,
boom,
right?
boom.
Like boom, boom, boom. It's just an endless thing. So the profit showed by not focusing on the profit.
100%, 100%. And you know, I still remember watching Crossfire, and if you haven't seen it, go take a look at it. It's worth it. I think you really can learn a lot, as Ron says. But my favorite line was, they're like, hey, Stewart, we had you here, tell some jokes, you're supposed to be funny. And he said, I'm not your monkey.
I'm not your monkey.
And I mean, as comedians, how many times do we have that said to us? And it's like, yes. But it was, to your point, it was, look, I'm here to say you're not helping. You're not helping the conversation.
Yeah.
And right now, this isn't about ideology. This is about the conversation.
Yeah.
And I love that comedy led the conversation.
Yeah.
Isn't that powerful?
It's incredible.
I mean,
and you're right, as comedians, we've all had that.
Yes.
Like, what do you do? I'm a comedian. Tell a joke! And you're
Be
like,
funny.
right? You're like, no, there's no stage, there's no, like, no, I'm not doing that.
You're like, oh, you're an accountant. Get me a tax deduction, quick! Go through the hoop.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
Be nerdy. Can't pull out a calculator.
Come on,
What do you got? What do you got?
Okay, I'm throwing suggestions
Merchant
at
cells
you,
in
people.
Excel. Yeah.
Exactly. There's no bad suggestions, only bad improvisers. Go.
Yeah, totally.
So you've seen a lot here at the conference. What has been your favorite thing?
You know what?
you've seen?
I just came out of Kate O'Neill's session. She's a wonderful human being.
Yes, she is.
But I think what I love about her perspective is that we all have this idea of what the future is going to be. And it's like, you know, when we all lose our souls and we go down that road. And, you know, Kate's point is like, we can actually make the future what we want it to be. And you know, don't let absurdity scale. I thought it was really powerful. The second thing that really stuck with me as a speaker is Henry Rollins yesterday saying that there are people who you will never meet who really cherish the thing you do. And I took that and I thought, that's who I should be presenting for. I should be presenting and prepare and deliver for the people who I will never hear from, who will never pass on a compliment or an insult or feedback. And it's those people who appreciate it and you never hear from them. Yeah. And you know, I did a speech a little while ago and a woman came up to me at the end and she said, we've never met, but I want to tell you that I do 60 presentations, like 60 decks a year, pitches, she was from a telco, on media sales. And the first page of every deck is a quote from you. I know, for 5 years a woman was doing this. I had no idea that this had this impact on her. And I thought that was really powerful.
That is incredible. I mean, you never know the impact you're going to have on somebody. No. And so there you go.
Yeah. Also, if I might add, I'm staying at the Hilton at the Diet Coke establishment opposed to a Pepsi establishment. And that means a heck of a lot for me because then I don't got to go out and smuggle, you know, contraband pop in here. And the convention center here is a Pepsi establishment, so we won't go too deep into it.
We won't go too deep.
The hotel, this is Coke establishment.
There you go.
Yeah.
The diet, the Pepsi versus Coke controversy continues. Everybody, Ron Tite, Church+State. The book is Think, Do, Say, coming out in October. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you so much.